Alright, Shalom. Call Allah Yahba Shem Shah. Shalom to the elect. This video is inspired by a few things I seen online. Some of stuff out. I just happened to pop up on Twitter and it had this post up here. Let me see if I can find it. I got some of my stuff on there as well too. Just some of my business stuff. But anyway, let me go to this. It says, and this how you see who really control the media and certain stuff like that. Because this is not accurate. Now it says Elon Musk is on track to become the first trillionaire thanks to SpaceX, right? So let's go to this article real quick. See who the real first trillionaires were. This article I found, you gotta do your homework on. I ain't gonna play the video because they got some stuff on here that you argue. They go to link right here. If I don't forget about it later yet, let me copy and paste it real quick. I'm gonna post it in the little information thing on the video or whatever. So they just got the different branches and the people that really run society on them. Notice you don't see those politicians. Those are just puppets. And this article is actually going to say that too about the puppets. Now it says the Rothschild family is one of the most powerful, influential, and wealthiest family in the world. They all descend from Mayer and Michelle Rothschild, or Meyer, so to speak, that's his name. It says a court due to the German landgrave Hesse Cassel. He established his banking business in the 1760s. And unlike most court Jews, Rothschild managed to expand his power and wealth to an international level. Through his 5 sons, he managed to establish an international banking family with headquarters in London, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples. The family has been tied with the Illuminati, New World Order, and many other secret societies, and they truly believe money makes the world go round. On one occasion, one of the Rothschild family members said, "I care not what puppet is in place on the throne of England and rule the empire. The man that controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire." And that goes for any place on earth. I ain't just talking about just Britain. It's talking about America, it's talking about Russia, it's talking about China, it's talking about Japan, whatever. They got their hands in this. And it says, and I control the money supply. I'm gonna go into some precepts in a minute, talk about that too. Now it says the Rothschild family is worth more than 500 trillion. They are the only trillionaires in the world. Fun fact, not one of the Rothschild family members is listed on the Forbes list. Why? Because they control certain information that go out. I'm surprised they even got this article. I had to search for it and actually find it. Now it says, on the Forbes list of the wealthiest people in the world, but the magazines does not list members of the royal families. Why? Is the reason why the wealthiest family in the world does not have its own representative on the wealthiest people list, because they don't really want you to know. That's when you see, like, so-called people flashing certain money and all that different stuff. You ain't gonna see David Rothschild or Evelyn Rothschild holding up no fucking money phone. But anyway, let's go to some other stuff I want to go into. And this is prime example of who's ruling the world right now. Because they control the funds of the world. Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, I should say, earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is it? Who run the world right now? Who covered the faces of the judges? Who authorized these different films to go out that actually talk about history, and they actually change the faces or the skin tone of the actual people. People that descend from Esau. And the Rothschilds descend directly from Esau. They know it. They just make sure most of society don't know it. You see, the Most High don't lift that veil up. They don't put out elders and teachers that actually push out information around the earth, that actually help push other men to go to research, learn, figure out stuff that's really going on. All through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, of course. Let me go to this actual video. Let me see what it's at. And now I wasn't even looking for this, but it just happened to pop up, so I had paused it so I could actually catch it, because they be having these little advertisement videos on certain, videos you click on. Now it says 20 million per day on behalf of Israel. Per day. I ain't talking about the month. You do the math in a month. Now it says $20 million per day. That's how much of your tax money Congress wants to spend on behalf of Israel. And they already spending money on it over there on the Amalekites. That's where a lot of that money be going at. And who control that flow? It all goes back to who? This family right here. Now let me let this play. I'm going to go into some more precepts here.
That's how much of your tax money Congress wants to spend on behalf of Israel. Most of the billions go directly to Israel. The rest fund projects to benefit Israel. In other words, over $7 billion of our tax money will be expended in 2022 for a small, rich foreign country, a nation that has already received more U.S. money than any other.
See, let me pause that real quick, because you'll have somebody to come and be like, let me go to it real quick. We have one of those rabbis or somebody that'll say, this prophecy right here is coming to pass. This is not so. I know this is a little side topic, but I want to bring it out since it's on my mind. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse. Let's see where I want to start at. Let me see. I want to go at. All right, I'm just reading down from verse 1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see all they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come into thee." And you actually have rabbis that, let me go back, I want to click on. They actually say that's this coming to fruition right there, but that's not that. It says in verse 6, "The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian, Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. They shall shew forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with the acceptance of my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory, with my glory." It says, "Who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves of the windows? Surely as the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, into the name of the Lord Yahweh." That's one key. Let you know it's not talking about this, because they're not actually using the name Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. They just say Hashem, which just means the name. By Hashem, which just means in the name. Now it says, "Unto the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee." The Most High ain't glorified this place yet. It still look like a ruin if you actually go look over it. They got certain little spots that don't build up and modernize, but for the most part, it's still dry land. Now it says, "For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted." This hasn't happened yet. It says, "The glory of Lebanon shall come into thee, the fir tree." Oh, I skipped something. Let me go back real quick to verse 11. Salaki. Now it says, "Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night." This definitely ain't it, because they got barbed wire fences and all type of gates up there that's actually closed, and you can't just go up in there. Especially now to get over there, you gotta have that you know what. Now it says, "Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought." So this prophecy ain't gonna pass yet, but it's gonna come once the actual people that's supposed to be in that land be over there.
Giving Israel this money will violate U.S. laws, and most Americans feel we already give Israel too much money.
And the crazy thing about it, the real Israel, Esau ain't giving out shit to us. they try to give out, which I'm going to go into some more stuff, which is like a slap in the face. And I'm glad that they actually showed us in this video. Better yet, let me go to this article real quick, because there's so much stuff going on, man. You really gotta use your time wisely. Use your leisure time to really look this stuff up. Now it says Biden wants stimulus checks to keep coming next year. Here's how much you get. And everybody not included in this either, too, just so you know. Now it says President Biden and Democrats in the Congress are still deep in negotiations over the White House mega ambitious bill back better domestic agenda, paring back the price tag of the agenda's huge social spending bill by jettisoning features opposed by a couple of holdout Senate Democrats, one victim of the backdoor deal making the popular child tax credit extension, which that child checks. Oh, hold on, it's like I'm getting jumbled up on my words. That popular child tax credit extension, that's some bullshit. Because once again, like this video saying, they send hella money to these Amalekites. I'm talking about big money. And when they get over here, they give them even more, just so they can start their businesses up and etc. But Esau being a damn devil, they're gonna give our people crumbs up. But hey, they gotta pay for that though. Anyway, it says which since July has meant a regular monthly stimulus check for parents of eligible children around the country. This little bit amount of money they talking about, you barely can feed your kids and clothe them with that, but that's how they plan it though. It says President Biden had wanted to extend the extension for another 3 years, which it's not even him doing it, it's the ones who control the bank. Now it says for another 3 years, which would presumably have meant 36 more monthly child tax credit checks. However, largely as a result of opposition by West Virginia Democrat Senator Joe Manchin, might be pronounced his last name wrong, but it says the White House has agreed to curtail an extension of the child tax credit from 3 years to only 1 more year for now. Now, let me go down real quick. They said this is not yet final, of course, but the change is an attempt to accomplish 2 very important goals. One of them is keep Manchin on side, and Democrats, remember, had the slimmest of majorities in the Senate, which Esau made that minority majority shit up. And that's a myth, because if you actually go, that's why they like to do census checks, because they really want to see who's who and what and where they at. They really the minorities. Once again, let me go to this real quick. And I ain't gonna read the rest of Isaiah. You can go into that precept yourself. Or go into that chapter yourself. There's some good information in there. Let's see. Precept is. Okay. That's the one I was looking for. It's in the book of Isaiah as well, too. It's in the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse. Let me see. Let me go back to where I was at. Alright, I'm going to start at verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, because everybody not really looking for this information. They're not really looking for the saying Yahweh Shah to come help deliver us up out of here. They feel like this is going to keep going on, 2022 coming up, 2023 coming up, so on and so on. It's just going to keep going till things get back to so-called normal. They're not looking for Yahweh Shah to come back in that chariot with the angels. You're not expecting that third woe to actually come to fruition. But that remnant, they are. Now it says, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel in truth. It says, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, into the mighty Yahweh. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, Yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So our people really like the sand of the sea. And if you look at the sand of the sea, it's everywhere. And you can't really number it. And Esau tried to send out that Census Bureau. By the time they sent out the Census Bureau, another large amount of women got pregnant and had more babies. So you can't really number our people because we multiply like that. So data minorities. We not no fucking minorities. Anyway, it says, what was that in this article? It says the party split in the Senate is 50-50 with the Democrats only enjoying the majority. They all hang together. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, breaks the tie. The other important goal of powering back the child tax credit extension is to keep the overall size of the spending bill at the heart of Biden's Build Back Better agenda. And that sounds just like what? The MAGA agenda. Hey, that's every time I think about that shit funny as hell to me. But anyway, it says much lower than it was originally from a new Politico report this week. Now the White House is proposing a one-year extension to reduce the initial $450 billion price tag. And who giving out this money? Let's go back to it. Who giving this out? Good old Esau from the Rothschild family himself giving out this money. That's what he says right here in this article. His words, in quote, it says, I care not what puppet is placed on the throne of England to rule the empire. The man that controls Britain's money supply controls the British empire, and I control the money supply. So who controlling the money supply of Babylon? They control them fucking puppets. Now anyway, it says, even though Manchin wants to impose work requirements and ensure that extra credit goes only to families making $60,000 or less, Biden publicly rejected the idea last week. So Esau really don't give a fuck. They just making it seem good because it sounds good because they giving out something. And what the scripture say about gifts? Let's go into this real quick. Because gifts ain't always good. People always think, oh, they gave me a gift. Yeah, there be some ulterior motives behind them gifts. It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. So, hey, let me go down to another one. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 8. It says, a bribe is a charm to its giver. Wherever he turns, he succeeds. So, hey, you give out them gifts and them goodies, just like when people get a situation, whether it be domestic relationships or motherfucker be beefing with you or whatever, and then they turn around and try to give you something, you're going to forget all about that because you got that gift. And then distort your heart, which your heart is really your mind because your heart just pump blood. Your mind really control your thoughts. Let me see. We'll go to something else real quick. We finish reading this article. Now it says, President Biden's child tax credit is a tax cut for the middle class. Middle class families will get a monthly payment of $250. That's really a joke, for real. What you really gonna do with that for your child? How you really gonna feed them and clothe them? Then you still gotta pay other bills and shit that's going on. That says for a child over the age of 6, and $300 for the children under the age of 6. So, hey, man, like I said right here, that's a big deal. Like, he's a fucking devil, man. That's why they gotta get judged, man. People gonna want to speak on it or feel some type of way when you say that, when they going around the earth doing all this bullshit. They just supposed to just ride off into the sunset or get on the SpaceX rocket and go to fucking Europa or some shit. Hell no, they gotta get judged for this. And I ain't gonna read the rest of this article. Let me go into this actual video and let this play.
Many across the country are calling right now. Striketober. Tens of thousands of U.S. workers are either on strike or planning to go on strike soon. That's so interesting, isn't it? You treat workers like shit for a long time while the rich get richer and richer and richer and richer and richer and richer and richer, and apparently, at some point, the workers go, fuck you.
And why is that? Hey, let's go to this real quick, man. It's so easy to do these because so much stuff happens straight out the scripts. Can't make it up. go to this. Book of Proverbs, chapter 29, and verse 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. There ain't too many people rejoicing right now. Only most people that's really in a real rejoiceful spirit. There's people that really know that these prophecies come to pass. And other ones, they may be on drugs and shit, and they just fake rejoicing. But other than that, they're not really in a rejoiceful spirit. Like I said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. That's why people mourn and striking. Motherfuckers saying, fuck them jobs. They ain't trying to really go to work. Motherfuckers, they ain't even paying no attention to what the government trying to rule out with these laws. They're not regarding the kings or princes as is written in the scriptures. So that's another key factor to know who's really ruling, who's the wicked. Esau, red ass. Let me go into this other precept as well. Book of Malachi. I'm sorry, verse 2. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 2. It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord. Now you gotta think about this, keep this in mind. The Most High loved us and look what conditions he put our people in. So just imagine what he gonna do to who he hate. that's wild as fuck. It says, yet you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord. Yet I have loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. Why you hated Esau so much? What Esau did? What did old red Esau do? Now it says, and I hated Esau. But the Most High, he's all love. He just love everybody. But the aim what this say right here. Now it says, I hated Esau and laid his mountains and heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. That's why they go to every other country and steal their artifacts and whitewash their history and act like it's theirs, because their heritage is a waste. Now, it says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, which they still try to do to this day. Hey, I was riding home today and there's construction going on the road. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. And your eyes shall see, and you shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel. Now that's another precept I want to get to, because you hear somebody hear this and be like, oh, why you hate them? Well, look, I'm going to this. Make sure I type that in right. There's a few on this in my mind that I want to actually go to. I'll make sure I go to the exact one though. Okay, this is one of them. And there's another one to the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 9. It says, woe unto them that strive with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou of thy work? He have no hand, so hey, you can't really ask the Most High why you just pick this over this and not want that and want that. Just like I was speaking to somebody about a film I seen in the actual movie. The guy was like, who does God favor, the spider or the fly? Because there's certain stuff that you care about the most, and the other stuff, they just go to waste, basically. And when you look at the name Esau, that's what it go back to, wasted away his heat. I shot you. Now, let me see. What's another precept we're going to go to? book of Romans chapter 9 and verse, let's see. Let me go to it. This will answer the question perfectly, unless you're emotional. But anyway, it says, Romans chapter 9, verse 6, it says, not as though the word of Yahweh have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. But this is the word of the promise, at this time I will come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by her father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, if they weren't here yet, it says that the purpose of Yahweh, according to the election, might stand, because he had an election, or